Afghanistan, is peace possible? In the interview, the Afghan Foreign Minister Zalmay Rassoul.
Mr. Rassoul, welcome. Very good to have you with us. First off, there's been considerable diplomacy over the last few weeks in Kabul, internationally, with the Taliban concerning a diplomatic solution, concerning a political solution in Afghanistan. What could a political solution look like?
9 years on the war on terror, we sat together with our allies and to look together how we don't succeeded enough on the security side. And we agreed, all of us, the military solution is not the only solution to solve the problem, and we need to have a political process too. And this political process consists on a process of reintegration and reconciliation for those elements and for insurgency that will accept our constitution and drop their weapons and reintegrate the Afghan society. For that, as you know, we needed to have an Afghan consensus about the peace process. Last May, we had organized a peace jirga through which all sectors of the Afghan society has been present, including 21% of them included women for the first time in our history, and they agreed that Afghans want peace. And that jirga also clarified the red lines of this peace process.
The Peace and Reconciliation Program that you've been here in Germany talking about with parliamentarians has a budget 600 million euros, 50 million coming from Germany. It's quite a bit of money at a time of budget cutbacks. Can this money get the 25,000 Taliban fighters that you've been talking about actually to lay down their arms?
I think it's the process, the real process, is not just the imagination process. The process is based on facts. If the reintegration process is really Afghan-led and really supported by our partners and properly implemented, I'm optimistic that they'll achieve good results.
Okay, some of those partners, are they in the north? German forces are located there. They're coming under a lot of pressure, 44 deaths so far since the deployment. Now, the warlord Gulbuddin Hekmatyar has been putting a lot of pressure on the German forces. Could he become involved? Could he be one of these Taliban leaders that would lay down their arms, join this process you're talking about?
You know, the process has been clarified now. Those who accept our constitution, those who have not linked with terrorist groups like Al-Qaeda and others, those who have not committed crimes against the Afghan people, are amenable to the peace process. We are not talking about one person on one. We wanted about those people which we are targeting. The reintegration process target merely those people we are fighting inside Afghanistan. But the reconciliation is a much larger process because they target the leadership of Taliban. The majority of them are not inside Afghanistan.
What about Iran? Does Iran have a role to play in this peace and reconciliation process?
We also agreed that to bring peace and stability in Afghanistan in the region, we need a regional process because a regional cooperation. Afghanistan is not the main source of terrorism and extremism. And without a full and sincere cooperation in the regional context, it will be very difficult to defeat terrorism and extremism in the region and also in the world. So Iran, as a major country in the region and as a neighbor of Afghanistan, can play a positive role. We have been engaged since 2001 with Iran. We have good working relation. But of course, Pakistan also is another neighbor of Afghanistan, which also start to suffer from terrorism and extremism. It's very important countries, and we have engaged with Pakistan to try to come out with a common strategy to fight terrorism and extremism.
But Pakistan has expressed concerns that it's not involved enough in this process.
I think that's something that we're talking to them for a long time. I think there's recognition in Pakistan that the terrorism and extremism is also a major threat to the security and stability of Pakistan. And I'm hopeful that with more engagement we can achieve and convince Pakistan that the full cooperation in this fact with Afghanistan and our partners will be beneficial for all of us.
As you try to get the Taliban on board for this reconciliation process, President Karzai has said he wants to have all the foreign security contractors out of the country by the end of the year. He announced that back in August. Is that still his policy? Is that still his goal, to get the some 80,000 security contractors out of the country?
That has been announced, of course. It's a decree. We believe that a major part of security companies, private security companies, are contributing to lack of security. That has been noticed by everybody, even by our allies. Now, how we can find a solution, I think, to replace the security companies by Afghan security forces, which is a legitimate one, controllable. That's what we are proposing. We are also discussing how we can organize a system to protect the major project that our allies are doing in Afghanistan. But definitely everybody agree that the private security firm contribute more to lack of security than the security.
Does this mean that the deadline will be extended beyond the end of the year, that the security companies will be staying a bit longer then as the Afghan forces prepare to move into their positions?
So far, the position of Afghan government that we need to respect the deadline, but concerning the project and the security of the diplomats, embassies, bases, the discussion is going on, and there'll be most probably a solution for that.
Now, there have been reports from Western trainers in Afghanistan that the training process for the Afghan forces has not been going to plan, has not been going especially well. Has it been improving recently?
I think regarding the army, the training is taking good shape and going well. As you know, we have started very late the training of Afghan police, and that we have a problem there still. You know that training a policeman is much more difficult and much more time-consuming than training a soldier. So our emphasis with our allies is more and more we are talking about the transition of security responsibility to the Afghan National Security Forces. More emphasis should be done to accelerate the training, but also the equipment of our national security forces.
Would you like to see Germany play more of a role here? Are you asking Germany for more trainers or for more soldiers, for that matter?
I think Germany has did a great job in Afghanistan. Germany has been a historical friend of Afghanistan, not only in support of the military, but also in reconstruction and development of Afghanistan. Germany, as you know, has started to play a role in training of Afghan police forces. And of course, more we go through transition period, more and more we ask our friends and allies to help us more on training and equipping our national security forces. So by the time that we have decided during the London conference and Kabul conference, we will start taking responsibility of security starting by 2011 and hopefully by 2014. At the end of the mandate of the President Karzai, Afghan National Security Forces should have the full responsibility of security, and our allies' forces would be supporting force, not fighting.
Where do the negotiations with the Taliban go from here? Will they be deepening? Will there be more inclusion of the Iranian diplomatic corps as well?
I think it should be an Afghan-led process, because Afghans are going to talk to Afghans. We need to lead the process, but we need the support of our allies and neighbors to support the process. The structure of the process now put in place, and it will take a little bit of time to see how we can start to deliver.
Zalmay Rassoul, Foreign Minister for Afghanistan, thank you so very much for being with us today.
Thank you for receiving me. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.